Hello, welcome back to Checkpoint Charlie. It's been a while. I'm your host, Malacchi Kitchen. Today I have with me
Brendan Pohanic, first time on the podcast.
Anne.
Javyn Myers, second timer, host of the J Show, watch it at Spotify.
And today we're going to be talking about global influence, specifically with Venezuela and the United States. So for background information, on January 3rd of 2026, the president of Venezuela was captured by the United States. And this has had a lot of implications, a lot of celebration and fear and protests in both America and Venezuela. It's led to a lot of global tension, and it's become a global talking point, with UN members from Denmark, from the United Kingdom, and from France all criticizing Donald Trump on his efforts, with the current acting president, the vice president of Venezuela, condemning Trump's actions while also having to obey what Trump is saying.
Clarification on what Trump's actions were.
So Trump was the one that authorized the capture of Venezuelan president. And usually, in a formal declaration of war, the president of the United States must go up to Congress and ask for a formal declaration of war. But we have not done that since the Korean War. Actually, sorry, since World War II. The Korean War wasn't a declaration of war. We have not formally declared war on any nation in years. And the main reason for that is that if you don't declare war, you're able to bypass the laws of Congress. You're able to do what you need to do. And a lot of presidents in the past have disclosed, like, this isn't okay, but they still do it, right? What Trump did was morally incorrect in terms of the United States law, but what he did was internationally unacceptable. Because, well, yes, the acting president of Venezuela was a dictator and was oppressing his people, he still violated international law. He authorized United States military to go into a sovereign nation, capture their leader, and he has no repercussions of this. Regardless of the person themselves is a bad person, he still violated international law.
Yeah. That's kind of a lot to take in, not gonna hold you.
It is.
Huh.
It's been about a week, and this has all been dumping on, and that's only like that was between January 3rd and like the 5th, and it's the 9th as we speak.
No action has been taken whatsoever.
There has been no international action. There has been no action against him politically. The only action is major protests, like in Arkansas. I believe it's Arkansas.
And he wrote no formal apology or anything?
No, he congratulated the United States on capturing the president. And MAGA supporters have congratulated Trump on what he did. A lot of United States citizens are proud of what we did. And a lot of us, such as myself, are ashamed of what we've done. A lot of Venezuelans are over the moon and happy about the abdication, the forceful abdication, well, not even abdication, the forceful removal of their leader. And now, but a lot of Venezuelans are also fearful. A lot of them have
just realized how much potential power America now has. If we could do something like that, breaking laws.
And something that we can see from the past, right? And before I say this, I'm not comparing the actions of the United States to what Nazi Germany did to its people. I'm only saying on an international level. In the 1930s, when Hitler took over power, he began bullying smaller nations. The main reason he wanted this is because he wanted Lebensraum, which is living space. He wanted the Aryan people to be expanded. And to do this, he needed to take over more space. So he marched into Austria and took it. The Allies said, okay, you can have that, but no more. Then he asked for the Sudetenland, which is an area of the former country Czechoslovakia that was full of ethnic Germans. And so they said, okay, you can have that, but no more. And so he took it. And then he invaded the rest of Czechoslovakia. He took over half of their land within a couple of hours. And then the Allies said, okay, you can have that, but no more. And then after that, they marched into Poland on September 1st, 1939, and started World War II. The reason Hitler was doing this was, one, for Lebensraum, but to test the Allies on what they would do against his actions. Because prior to this, nobody took Germany as a threat. After the Treaty of Versailles, they had to reduce their military to 100,000 men. They couldn't have an air force. They had to pay back billions of dollars. So no one took him as the threat. And then they start progressively doing more and more and more. And then that's when World War II started, because he went over the boundaries. That's what Trump is doing. If we remember from the beginning of his term, he was talking about buying Greenland. He wanted Greenland, and he still does. And then now he's marching into a sovereign nation who, one, is a gold field of oil and natural resources, because we know how much our country loves oil.
Yes, sir.
It is a small, weak nation that is a heavy ally of our greatest rivals, like North Korea, China, and Russia, and Iran. And three, it is weak and corrupt, so it's easy for the taking. And it instantly rolled through. It got rolled through in a night. They literally captured the president of a nation in a night. And Trump's testing what he can do. And first he wanted to buy Greenland, but he officially stated, him and his entire cabinet, his whole administration, have stated that they, and I quote directly, they have not ruled out military action against Greenland. If you don't know, Greenland isn't a country. It is an island near the Arctic. It is owned by the Kingdom of Denmark. Denmark is a NATO ally. It is a NATO member, just like the United States. So if you're not able to put all the pieces together, Trump is saying that he's not ruling out using our military to attack, invade, and conquer the land that not only Denmark has a right to, but the people of Greenland want to be a part of Denmark. He is now threatening to march into one of our allies and take their territory, which the Prime Minister of Denmark and several politicians from, again, the United Kingdom, Denmark, and France have all said that if Trump does that, NATO will be disbanded, because the United States basically holds the glue of NATO. They have the largest, they put the most for NATO. Without the United States military might, there is no NATO. So if Trump does that, NATO's gone. And that is Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, our greatest enemies. That is their opportunity to topple the West.
Let me get my thoughts straight before I get us blocked. Banned. You got anything?
I was wondering what it would mean if NATO was disbanded, what it would mean for Ukraine and the other people we're supposed to be helping.
So what it would mean for Ukraine, there's a lot of different scenarios that could happen for Ukraine. What will probably happen, the United States will no longer be obligated to put forth money for Ukraine. They will no longer be held on an international level to help Ukraine like we've been helping them since Russia's unlawful invasion of the country.
Right.
It could mean that we stop helping them. It could mean we ally ourselves with Russia, because we all know how much Trump loves Putin. And another thing it could mean is that once NATO is disbanded, besides the European Union, which holds most current NATO members, independent nations would now be allowed to start contributing more on a personal level. Because Article 5 of NATO, if one nation is attacked, then the rest of NATO attacks that nation. Belarus has been looking like it's been going to join in Russia in wanting to attack a place, right? Because Ukraine is down here, right? On the global map. Ukraine's down here. It gets attacked, and Belarus up here is on top of Ukraine, helping Russia. And then Finland joins along with Turkey, or sorry, not Turkey. Finland and Sweden join NATO in order to help them. So dismantling NATO would mean that these countries can no longer act as a union in which you have several people wanting to do different things. No, independent countries can start shipping thousands and thousands of dollars and military personnel, equipment, everything to Ukraine. Which, imagine a world where the NATO is disbanded and Germany joins in on the fight with Ukraine against Russia. And Germany is currently bulking up their army. They are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, third or fourth in the entire continent of Europe for most powerful military. And they're pretty advanced with their military software, especially with their tanks. So that could mean, it could mean total war. It could mean all-out war across the world.
It could be a possibility, yes.
And a lot of news outlets have been fear-mongering and I get this comes off as very fear-mongering, but take what I say as like a possibility, not that this is what's going to happen.
Take it with a grain of salt.
With a heavy grain of salt. We're high schoolers.
Right.
We all study this. We all love politics. I plan on being a senator one day. We all do our best to get this information, but this is just one view. And I hold a lot of what I'd like to think, a lot of what the general public is scared of all-out war. Because what Trump is doing is directly violating what America stands for. We have become the global police after World War II. And for a long time, we were doing horrible, horrible things. We are the reason why Central America is so destitute and why we have so many immigrants from Latin America coming to the United States because of the actions we took to secure them from communism. And we have lost our place in the world as the protectors of freedom, the protectors of liberty. We are now going full force into fascism. You see this in Minneapolis with a woman being shot and killed by an ICE agent.
There was no proof of any right to kill. There was no formal apologies or anything. The ICE administration has been constantly attempting to justify the killing out in the street for no apparent reason whatsoever. I see your point.
And I'd like to bring this is in case people don't know, because a lot of stuff goes on and people might not know. Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States, went on Truth Social and congratulated the man who killed her. I forget her name, and it's a disrespect to not remember her name, and I apologize for that. But the man who killed her, he was congratulated by the president. And Karen Levitt, the press secretary of the White House, in all of her sucking up to Master Trump, went on and said that the reason that woman died was because of left-wing extremism. Because the Democrats did it. The Democrats were the ones that did all this. The left wing, they're the problem, not us MAGA people, not us Americans. We didn't do that. And a lot of people have seen that video of, if you don't know what happened, ICE agents tried to pull a woman out of her car, but the car was locked. And as the woman tried to speed away, she was shot several times in the head through her windshield by an ICE agent. And a lot of people who looked at that video saw that the lady was trying to run over the ICE officer. Not what happened. The two officers tried to get her. One of them tries to open up the door, and he runs in front of the car as if the guy's right here, and this is the driver's side, she tries to back up. He goes here and runs in front of the car. And right as she starts going forward and obviously turning away so she doesn't hit this man, he pulls out his gun and shoots her several times in the head. This isn't a matter of self-defense. This is straight up fascism. You cannot look at the killing of that woman and say that the ICE officers were in the right. If you do, that's objectively incorrect. This isn't a matter of conservatism versus liberalism. This isn't left versus right. This isn't Republican and Democrat.
Common sense. Oh, America is falling apart. I'm sorry. That's the best way I could put this. America is really, really, truly falling apart. All the things going on in Minneapolis. Like, protesters are standing up in defense of the woman, saying that, making sure that everyone knows there was no true reason that she was shot. No justifiable reason that she was shot and killed.
Right. Including several witnesses who were there and saw it.
And she was obviously trying to back away.
Yeah.
And he just decides to, for no reason.
And a medical respondent was there trying to help her, and ICE agents wouldn't let her.
Oh my God. From what you said, like the ICE agent jumped in front of the car. You think it was something like so he could get an excuse to kill her?
I think so. I think that's why he did it.
Yeah, no, he tried to get some justified homicide in.
Some justified homicide.
What could have possibly been the reason why they opened up, why they were trying to get to the lady in the first place?
Same reason they've been doing it with everyone, kidnapping people and deporting them. Because again, several citizens have been deported. It's not just criminals. It's not illegals.
It's just immigrants, period.
It's people that Trump does not like. And we can see Trump's inaction to help the people. And you've even got Republicans, hard right Republicans like Mike Johnson, disagreeing with Trump on Greenland, disagreeing with what happened to that poor lady.
Right.
And with these implications being shown, it's no longer MAGA versus Democrats. It is Trump versus the people. And it is up to independents, Democrats, and Republicans, whether you are a conservative or you are a liberal, a communist or you are an anarchist. It is your responsibility as an American, as someone who loves freedom, to stand up to Donald Trump. Doesn't matter if he gets replaced with another Republican, with a Democrat. Doesn't matter if he gets replaced with just an egg, with a little animal. Doesn't matter what he gets replaced with. As long as he's gone, that would fix the United States. Do either one of you have any concluding thoughts?
No, not really. It's been a really nice information dump. A lot of things that I was unaware of I learned today.
Yes, sir.
Really wish I could have said more, though. Really wish I could have said more.
What about you, Jay?
Same thing, except I want to add on to the immigrant crackdown. This has also happened in North Carolina as of November, like late October, mid-November last year. ICE has stormed into North Carolina and is deporting dozens of immigrants, beating innocent immigrants. There was another man who got dragged out of his car, beat to death, just because he was an immigrant. This was all by ICE officials. They all condoned it. The sheriff of North Carolina spoke out against it, saying that we didn't ask for these people to come here and quote unquote protect us. Run the decisions by me first, which that's another thing. They didn't run anything by the police, by the Carolina police. They didn't run anything by the deputy sheriff or the sheriff himself. I stormed in and said they wanted to just clear out all of the criminals. And once researchers have done deeper research, they found out none of the victims have criminal background, or at least minor prior criminal background. And all of them were just recently immigrated to America. Victims, the dead, and it scared a bunch of people. It scared people about America, scared them about not even just North Carolina in general, but like just scared them about
country.
Yes. And I hate that. Just morally, I hate that people feel like it's right to do something like that just because I'm going to take this from another standpoint. If I were to go out on the streets, and I know I'm in a protected neighborhood right now, but if I were to go out on some unsafe street, I would not be able to rest in the knowledge that, oh, I'm going to be okay. People aren't just going to, like, I don't know, beat the shit out of me. They're going to shoot me. Like, I'm the police too. They're not going to do anything to stand in the way of my potential prosecution, incarnation. That's racism in general, because that's not just racism, but like that's another standpoint. Racism, fascism, everything that America's doing wrong right now stands against everything. Me personally, I stand for, and what I feel like the morally correct person should be standing for.
I appreciate both of you. Thank you. Those were nice words, by the way. I appreciate you both coming out to Checkpoint Charlie. Before I sign off, I want to leave one more message. ICE agents cover their face for the same reason that the Proud Boys do. And keep that in mind. This is Checkpoint Charlie signing off. I've been your host, Malacchi Kitchen, with Brendan and Jay. Thank you.